Well, I initially had no intentions of making another video about this show, as the initial video was just to break down how the pilot of HBO's The Idol didn't work for me personally. However, some viewers asked if I would continue to talk about this show, and I figured, why not? I would like to address a controversy in my first video though. Several viewers pointed out I mixed up the name of the lead character played by Lily Rose Depp. In the video, I referred to her as Jenny when the character's name is actually Jocelyn. I do apologize for the mistake, however, mistakes do happen. I still feel like I had specific criticisms of the episode and why I wasn't a fan, so if you were wondering if I did watch the episode, I did, I promise. Again, sorry for the name confusion, but I'm only human just like you and mistakes are bound to happen. I will try and be more precise in the future though, so I hope you guys can forgive me. With that out of the way, I know a lot of you are wondering if episode 2 of The Idol got any better. Did the show improve at all? The answer, yes and no, but more no than yes. However, let me explain. My biggest criticism of the pilot was that they gave us no real reason to care about the characters or to be engaged with what was happening. Everything seemed very sterile and bare bones aside from the presentation of the show, which yet again, the cinematography in the episode is very well done. But ultimately in the pilot, there was no reason, at least that I felt, to care about the characters, especially our lead character Jocelyn. I'm pleased to say that in the second episode, there is a stronger attempt at getting us to try and care about Jocelyn. I honestly think the second episode, despite not being that much better, actually would have served nicely as a pilot instead of what we actually got. Unfortunately, the positives of the episode stop there. I wasn't willing to make any bold statements about the series after one episode, and I'm not going to make any bold claims after the second episode. However, after sitting through around 2 hours of this show between both episodes, I can confidently say this show is essentially the biggest budget porno ever made. The worst part, it's not even that sexy. It seems that Levinson and The Weeknd are less concerned with telling an engaging story with a cast of intriguing characters that we as an audience will sit down and want to follow for an hour every single week, and more concerned with filming oddly creepy sex scenes and then filming a few scenes with dramatic elements to fill out the runtime. I would like to emphasize, I'm not trying to spew negativity, and making criticisms is always a difficult thing for me since I want to be a filmmaker and writer myself. However, I would want someone to critique my work as honestly as possible if I were in the opposite position. That being said, there is a slight attempt, as mentioned before, to try and get us to engage with Jocelyn as a character. But the unfortunate fact of the matter, at least for me personally, is that Jocelyn is just not a likable character at all. Now, a couple viewers in the previous video pointed out that maybe the characters are supposed to be unlikable, which is a totally fair and valid point. Shows like Succession and It's Always Sunny thrive on unlikable characters. But the thing with a show like The Idol is that I don't think Jocelyn is intended to be unlikable. In episode 2, they attempt to paint her as a real artist who, to her core, just wants to make music that means something and be a once-in-a-lifetime generational talent. Except when we finally get a glimpse of her quote-unquote talent, it's not very abundant. Take a scene at the beginning of the episode where Jocelyn sits her team down and plays a new version of her upcoming single, except this time her brilliant and super artistic idea is to take sounds of her and The Weeknd's character Tedros having sex and mix them into the song. The song is super poorly mixed, and her team is not a fan of the song at all. However, the way the scene is presented makes me think that we're supposed to sympathize with her. Yet her team is exactly right, the new version of the song is just not good. In a later scene, Jocelyn is filming a music video, and by the end of it she's in tears with her feet bleeding and is a complete emotional wreck. Now you'd think it would be because she's being worked to the point of exhaustion and she's being forced to overexert herself. But that's not the case at all. For a majority of this incredibly drawn out and oddly edited scene, she's the one who isn't satisfied with the takes and forces the director and team to continuously redo the same shot. They attempt to do the whole work till you bleed type of scene like in Whiplash, where Miles Teller practices drumming until he bleeds, but in The Idol, Jocelyn for a majority of the scene is the one forcing herself to keep doing the same thing over and over. So at the end of the scene, when she's on the floor crying and her feet are bleeding, I can't feel bad for her. She was rude to the director and overstepped her boundaries, forced the dancers around her to keep doing the same thing over and over, and all for a song that she apparently doesn't even like. So while I appreciate at least an attempt this time around to get us invested and on the side of Jocelyn's character, the execution of it is all wrong. I could talk about how the editing of the scene is jumbled and choppy as well, but the inherent problem with the scene and the show as a whole so far is it doesn't seem to understand how to write likable or interesting characters. The show is also too full of itself, thinking it's this super sexy, super dramatic and erotic show, but honestly it's just extremely cringy most of the time. I'm sorry, but I just don't find it sexy when The Weeknd just keeps feeling up Jocelyn and talking in this low volume, airy, whispery voice about how juicy her ass is and how he wants to see them quote-unquote titties. All in all, I do want to see where this show is headed, because as bored as I am while watching it, I am finding it amusing to see how cringy some of the dialogue from The Weeknd is, and I'm excited to get a compilation of his most cheesy and cringy lines after the season ends. But with that being said, I would like to know in the comments, guys, if you like this show or if you hate it. Are you in the middle? Are you not willing to give up on it yet? Am I being too negative 2 episodes in? Let me know. I would love to engage with you guys more, and I'm pretty good at responding to comments. However, if you did like the video, make sure to click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more from me. I'm hoping to be at 10k subs by the end of the year. If I do, I'll do something really fun and wild and wacky, like maybe an hour-long review of the entire My Little Pony series. Who knows? Or, I don't know, something like that. Also, make sure to click that little bell notification so that you do get notified when I post new content. I don't really have a regular upload schedule as of yet, so it'll help you guys know when I post new stuff. And as always, guys and gals, I will see you on the next video.